Welcome back to Ride and Laugh Podcast. If you love mountain biking, you are in the right place. Today's Ride and Laugh episode is a short and sweet, quick rip to keep the stoke going and the vibes high. Let's drop in. Sage, we are keeping the vibes going. We are doing a quick rip, a quick Ride and Laugh episode to keep the vibes high for all of our listeners when we're on vacation, when we're out for a week, when anything's going on. We are keeping it rolling.
I love it.
Today, we are going to be talking about pads versus no pads, because you come from the unique perspective of a rider who does not wear pads under any circumstances.
I really don't.
Explain yourself. maybe this is going to be a trail stage on trial. Maybe I'll be the prosecutor and you're the defendant. Explain yourself. How can you not wear at least knee pads?
I know, it's great. It's the one thing that I get, especially if I go to a downhill park. It's the one comment that I get the most on my Strava or even on YouTube after I post the videos. Like people are like, no pads, you know, just like total uproar. And it's true. Yeah, I don't do elbow or knee.
So
neither one of us. I do. Guilty.
No. Let's sentence him. Write in the comments. Ride and Laugh on Gmail, YouTube comments. What is his sentence? He readily admits that he does not wear pads. Now, let's hear the reasoning now. Now let's get to the reasoning. Convince me.
I was about to say, neither one of us do the chest or back, I don't know what you call that neck brace pad thing.
Yeah.
So,
right.
I'd be curious to see, some comments from people about that. Who wears that and does it help and how uncomfortable is that? Because whenever I see it, it looks uncomfortable. It almost looks like a neck brace. You know, they come up like real high in the back, and I don't know. It looks very uncomfortable.
Yeah, let us know how comfortable those are. And I also see that's a really good point that you bring up the chest protector, back protector. Yeah. I've seen people here in Arizona ride with knee pads and with that. You know, I wear elbow pads on a good deal of my rides, but I have not worn that chest protector. And I guess you just need to have that one fall on your chest when you're like, okay, I'm putting this on. I did have that fall, by the way, at Sunset Ridge.
Yes, you did.
I fell right on my chest, right on Sage's GoPro. That thing took a beating and kept on going. I was pretty impressed with that, but man, that hurt. Ride and Laugh on Gmail and YouTube comments. What pads are you wearing and who's wearing that chest protector and why have you found it to be useful? Is it hot? Okay. So now why no pads? Have you tried them?
I have. I've tried several different companies. I've tried different sizes. I really have, both knee and elbow, and I've never found any that have been comfortable for me. And that's really the main thing for me is comfort. You know, it's a feeling of that freedom to be able to move around. I feel outweighs what the pads bring. And I know that sounds crazy. I know it absolutely sounds crazy. And trust me, I have had some really, really bad falls and crashes. And I've never thought, oh man, had I had pads, I'd have been okay. For some reason, all of them have been, you know, my wrist or I broke my back. So maybe I should be wearing that thing. But like, I've never hit my knee or my elbows. You know, it's one of those things where you learn how to fall, which is something that my dad taught me, you know, when I was a really young boy, is learn how to fall. And I don't know, Danny, when did you start wearing pads?
I think that you have had those injuries, and I think that you just decide it's not worth them, because I remember you fell at Sunset Ridge and you sliced your elbow open pretty good.
No, forearm. It was the forearm. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So in that case, it wouldn't have. Every time that you fall, I try to make the point. I'm like, well, Your Honor, I think this is a pretty good case for pads. And you're like, no, that wouldn't have helped. It was on my forearm. Or like, no, it wasn't on my knee. It was on my shin. No, wouldn't have helped. Wouldn't have helped. Wouldn't have helped. You do seem to avoid those contact areas. And that's pretty amazing. I wonder if, you know, we talked about the mountain bike pants and that they look cool, you know, especially in the winter. And I did that ride with, I've done many, many rides where I'm wearing shorts in the winter with a snowboard helmet and like a long sleeve jacket. It looks a little bit awkward.
Yeah. I
think it looks a little bit off-putting when people see you in a downhill helmet at the bike park with no pads on. It's just like something's missing from this picture. You're offending the mountain bike community. Our sensibilities. But you like the free movement. I don't know the last time that you tried pads that, because the trail pads have really come a long way as far as giving some light protection, but at the same time, you're saying you don't need them. Listener, who's wearing pads, knee pads, elbow pads? Why did you get into them? Why did you decide, yes, it's time to start wearing them? Was it just because, okay, I'm mountain biking, this stuff seems gnarly, I'll start wearing knee pads? Or was there an incident? For me, my pad history, absolutely there was incidents. There was falls. Right. And when we first started riding mountain bike, you only wore pads if you were a free rider. Like nobody wore mountain bike pads, and there was not lightweight trail pads. They weren't a thing. And I just went down enough where I hit my knees enough in the beginning where I remember just thinking, I'm getting some lightweight pads. And I got those wore those race face pads. Remember those? They said RF on them for years and years and years.
Yeah.
They were super light. All they did was stop a very light abrasion, but they made me more confident. I think they made me a little bit more comfortable. And then I had a couple falls where I opened up an elbow, and it was just so inconvenient to try to get some sleep with a bloody elbow. And both of those are movable joints. So it's really hard to get Band-Aids on them or to wrap them. And the scabs are always opening up, and there's bleeders. And I just got tired of it. And I said, I'm going to find elbow pads. I'm going to find knee pads. And I did. And I used the G-Form, and I love them. And I went through a couple of different brands, and some of them were really good. And now I'm actually starting to go the opposite way. I'm starting to take the elbow pads off. When's the last time I really fell on my elbow? And
interesting. Oh, I didn't know
I'm
that.
starting to do some rides without them. Yeah.
Okay. Why?
It just breathes better. It's like if the weather. So I'm kind of going weather dependent, and that's another benefit of the pads is if it's cooler out, then you do have a little bit of a layer there. Now you can make the same argument when it's hot, but you also are getting some sun protection as well. And I've had some really weird sunburns because of pads. I had the sunburn. I had sunburn from the elbow pad to my glove. Everyone on YouTube can see, but so it was just really, really red. And it looked like, I remember telling my brother-in-law that I had, it would look like Wonder Woman's, Wonder Woman wears the forearm bracer.
That's right. Yeah.
I was blocking lasers with my burnt forearm. So you can get some pretty weird tan lines. But I like the sun. I like and not wearing the elbow pads. Unless I'm doing something that feels like it's going to be more gnarly, I don't know that I need them. Now I actually will level up my pads when I go to the downhill park. I have more robust pads.
Yeah,
I've had pretty bad falls at downhill parks.
Yeah, you and me both. Absolutely. Yeah, it really just. I don't know that. At this point, I don't know that I would ever even consider wearing pads again. I know you're saying that the pad technology has changed and maybe there are more comfortable ones, but I just really enjoy not having them on. I like the feeling of just being completely free, open. I don't have to deal with rashes. I don't have to deal with sweaty anything. I like to be able to move around and feel free that way. And I do wear a downhill helmet, so it's not like I'm completely an idiot. I'm going to the downhill park. I'm wearing a downhill helmet, and I do wear long sleeves when I'm at the downhill park. I do like to have a second layer of protection in that sense. But yeah, man, I don't know, man.
You're like the nudist of mountain biking. You like to be free and loose and everything's cool, man. And let's just be free.
Yeah.
You're a hippie nudist mountain biking, and that's cool.
If I was going to wear any kind of protection, it would be wrist protection. If they made a wrist brace, for mountain biking, because that's the one thing that I do tend to. Yeah. I've had 3 broken wrists. I've broken my scaphoid, I've broken my distal radius, and I broke my whatever the other side is. The one side is distal radius, and I forget what the other side is. I've broken all 3 of them. And it sucks. It absolutely sucks. And that's probably the only brace that I would consider even wearing. But even then, I probably wouldn't wear them.
No, that would have to be incredibly comfortable. And I can't imagine how it would be comfortable because wrist braces are uncomfortable by nature. What
Yeah.
I find the most interesting about this conversation is that the main reason that I wear pads is to add confidence. I don't actually want to use them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I don't often use them, though. Maybe I shouldn't say that. I do put a knee down. I put a knee down fairly often, I guess, and it just helps. It just helps take the edge
Yeah.
off. Well, I haven't found pads to like eliminate injuries, but it does lessen them.
Yeah.
But to me, when I put on those knee pads and when I put on the elbow pads, and then if I'm wearing a full face helmet, like all of that adds confidence. It adds, and for you, it's the opposite. For you, you feel restrictive. It's taking away confidence, and that's really what it comes down to. Is what is going to put you into the flow state? What is going to make you feel the most confident? What is going to make you feel the most
Yeah.
secure? And what is going to bring you into that present state of being able to unleash all your skills? And for you, it's no pads.
Well, I think that most people would argue for that point. They would say you just need to get used to it. And once you get used to it, then you'd be fine. But I don't know. I know I'm in a very small minority of riders, but
yeah.
Hey.
Let us know, listeners. Let us know if you don't wear pads, if you wear pads every ride, which pads that you like, and listen, pad manufacturers, if you send Trail Sage a set of pads that he thinks are comfortable enough to wear, I mean, that is an endorsement and a half. Like that is the ultimate. So
yeah, but beware, you could also get a terrible review. These things are
that's true.
So uncomfortable. Yeah.
That's true. And Sage is honest to a T. That's what we do. We're authentic here. We are authentic. So, all right. Fantastic conversation. Anything else about pads, or what's your take on the enduro helmet for trail riding?
If I was doing an enduro race, that's different. I would wear a full face helmet. I'm also not a fan of the 2-piece helmets. In other words, the lightweight where you can take the chin bar off. I'm not a fan of that. Yeah. There's something about that makes me uncomfortable. I don't know that I would ever get a heavy duty helmet. Like you have a really heavy duty helmet. I don't know that I would go that far either. Again, I'm not pushing the limits. I'm not going and doing Tasmania hardline. I'm not doing any of those things. The helmet, dude, the Fox.
I broke my jaw in Connecticut, not pushing limits. That's why I got a heavy duty helmet. That's as everybody knows. But yeah, we don't always have to push limits. I think that the enduro helmet. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, hit me.
Yeah. So I think that the enduro. What I learned from my crash was that the enduro helmet is I think are good for trails. The lightweight full face but they're not meant for high speed downhill parks. And I think if I had a more robust downhill helmet, the enduro helmets are downhill rated. You have to be careful because they put this downhill rating on a lot of things. But there's just a difference between like a motorcycle helmet and a lightweight mountain bike helmet. They're awesome. Yeah. The lightweight mountain bike helmets are awesome. They have their place. The downhill helmet also has its place. I just feel more comfortable now. I broke my face. So like for the sake of my family, I have to wear a heavy duty helmet when I go to a bike park. As far as the full face helmet on the trails, the pros are the added protection and protecting your face.
Yep.
The cons, I think it's hotter, maybe a little bit less vision. But to me, when I wore a full face helmet on all my trail rides after my recovery for quite some time, and the most annoying thing to me was drinking and spitting. And snot rockets. Like, I mean, so many times I just wanted to be able to spit or snot. I snot an embarrassingly amount during a mountain bike ride. It's ridiculous. And you don't realize how much you're doing it until you're blowing it into your own helmet.
Oh God!
Or you can't,
Jesus!
Or you can't take a sip. So having to lift the helmet up all the time to get the snot out or to take a drink, that's a major pain in the butt. But those helmets are awesome, and if you feel more confident in it, it goes back to the same thing with the pads. If you feel more confident in it, if it brings you more into that flow state and brings that focus that we need, to be able to be present and ride our best rides, then wear pads, wear the full face, whatever works for you. Listeners, let us know. Full face helmet, half shell. What pads are you wearing? What do you recommend? Who's wearing the chest protector?
I got one last point before you start to close this out. For our flat pedal riders, do you guys and gals wear shim pads if you're doing flats with the aggressive pins, like really deep pins with like, some of these pins aren't just like pins. Some of them have like actual screw threads on them, Are you wearing shim pads? And if you are you wearing them all the time, or is it just when you go to a downhill park? Like I'm curious.
Yeah. And if you're not wearing them, how often are you slipping a pedal and then having that pedal strike your shin and opening up your shins? I mean, I'm a clipped in rider. My shins are bleeding all the time just from mountain biking in general. But slipping a pedal with those pedals coming around and hitting you in the shin is very, very painful and very bloody. Yeah. So, all right, that's a good question for our flat pedal riders. How often are you slipping a pedal, and how often are you getting hit in the shin? And do you wear shin guards? I don't see too many mountain bikers wearing shin guards. Do you?
No. I used to when I was going to the pump track, and I was not used to wearing flats. I would wear shin guards. I look like an idiot, but hey, kept my shins from getting bloody.
Yeah, I agree. And it made you comfortable. And that's what we're talking about. Being comfortable, doing you, everyone, we're out here to have fun. It's mountain biking. It's a sport. It's fun. So just, be safe. Do whatever makes you feel good. Get into that flow state. Ride your best ride. If you're still listening, which you obviously are, you're definitely one of us, and we appreciate you. You love bikes. We love bikes. Please rate and subscribe on YouTube, and please give us a 5-star rating on your podcast player, and please leave a comment. We appreciate it. Everyone have a great week and a great week of riding. Ride and laugh.
I'll see you, everyone.